Let's talk about AI. You know, everyone's got a proposal, everyone's got a pitch, but there's this huge gap between a flashy AI idea and a decision you can actually stand behind. And that's what we're here to talk about. How to bridge that gap and turn all that technical jargon into simple, clear executive decisions.
So if you're a leader, this question probably hits pretty close to home, right? Companies are pouring millions, sometimes tens of millions, into AI. They're running pilots, they're doing proof of concepts, but so many of these big, expensive projects just get stuck. They're completely stalled, never really going anywhere. So what's going on?
Well, here's the kicker. The problem usually isn't the tech. It's not the code, it's not the fancy algorithms or the data models. The real roadblock? It's human. It all comes down to a failure of alignment, a place where the leadership team just can't get on the same page and make a firm, committed decision.
And this leads us to what you could call the AI paradox. We're making these enormous investments, bigger than ever before, but at the same time, we're being paralyzed by an equally massive amount of indecision.
I want you to picture yourself in this empty chair, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's accountable. But look at the inputs you're getting. They're flawed. On one side, you've got vendors selling you a beautiful dream, and on the other, you have your own brilliant technical teams, but they're speaking a language you don't fully understand. You're stuck right in the middle of this accountability gap.
And what's the natural reaction when you're feeling that pressure? Well, you delay. You ask for more research. You schedule another round of vendor calls. You do anything you can to feel safer. But it's a trap. It's a downward spiral, because more information doesn't make you safer. It just leads to stagnation. And all the while, you're just burning cash.
I mean, does any of this sound painfully familiar? We spent all this money on AI tools, but we have nothing, literally nothing, in production. Or what about, my team is brilliant, but they can't agree on what to do first? These aren't just hypotheticals. These are the real, frustrating conversations happening in offices and boardrooms every single day.
Okay, so we've established it. The tech isn't the main problem. So what is? What's the real culprit here? Well, it's operational. It's about how your people and your processes work together or don't. It's about how you translate a big idea into something real.
And let's be super clear about what we mean by indecision. We're not talking about a lack of good ideas. You probably have tons of those. We are talking about that critical, terrifying moment when a concept has to jump off the whiteboard and into the messy reality of your day-to-day operations. That specific moment is where everything falls apart.
So the big question is, how do you break this cycle? Well, the answer is kind of counterintuitive. It's something called a one-day decelerator. The whole idea is to deliberately slow down, to take one focused day to pause so that you can accelerate everything for months and years to come. And the structure for the day? It's simple, but it's really powerful. In the morning, you deconstruct. You take these complex proposals and you just pull them apart. In the afternoon, you build what we call a risk shield to make your path forward defensible. And the entire day, every conversation is driving toward one single thing: pure, simple, binary clarity.
Now, just so we're all on the same page, let's be crystal clear about what this is and what it is not. This is a hands-on, roll-up-your-sleeves working session for decision makers. This is not another training program, it's not a sales pitch from a vendor, and you're not going to walk away with another 100-page consulting report that just gathers dust. The goal is to leave with decisions, not homework.
Okay, so what really happens on a day like this? What does it actually look like? Let's deconstruct the day itself.
The entire morning session is basically a translation layer. You take that tangled mess of vendor hype and technical gobbledygook, and you systematically translate it into plain English. You distill it down into things that any leader can actually understand and act on. What is the real risk? What is the true cost? And does it actually fit a strategy? That's it.
Then, after lunch, we switch gears completely. We move from taking things apart to building something new. You go beyond just staring at a slide deck, and you start to construct a risk shield. Think of it as a documented, defensible position on your most important initiatives. It's something your board can actually poke holes in, ask tough questions about, and ultimately approve with real confidence.
And all this work, the deconstruction in the morning, the building of defensibility in the afternoon, it all funnels down to one thing. It's about translating all that complexity and ambiguity into the simple, powerful language of a decision.
And this is the final output. This is the only language your board, your investors, and your team really need to hear. there are only 3 possibilities: a confident go, a conditional pause with clear next steps, or a decisive stop, so you can cut your losses before they get any bigger. No maybes, no let's circle back, just a decision.
And the result of achieving that level of clarity? Well, it's nothing short of transformative. You get clear decisions, you finally get alignment across the entire leadership team, and you create a much, much shorter path from getting a yes to actually getting it done.
But look, for any of this to actually work, you have to be able to trust the process. And that trust is built on a foundation of uncompromised neutrality. Unlike pretty much everyone else in this space, this model isn't about reselling software or getting kickbacks from vendors. There are no affiliate fees. The facilitator has one job, and one job only, to get you to decision clarity, period.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. The question isn't really about the cost of spending one day to get aligned. The real question is this: what's the compounding cost of inaction? What's the price you're going to pay for another quarter of stalled projects, frustrated teams, and wasted money?